The late afternoon light hit the cracked sidewalks of Harlem, washing the brownstones in a soft gold. Evelyn Carter walked with the ease of someone who'd lived in this neighborhood her whole life. A retired nurse, warm but firm, known for her calm voice and steady hands. She often said the city's chaos didn't scare her anymore. That changed today. As she passed the corner bodega, the hum of traffic broke into shouting. A young black teen, maybe 17, stood frozen against the wall, his hands up. His hoodie was gray, his eyes wide with fear. Towering over him was a white NYPD officer, Officer Cole Barrett, face tight with irritation, hand resting dangerously close to his holster. "Don't move," Barrett barked. The boy didn't. He was trembling. Evelyn slowed. Her instinct, that lifelong pull to help, took over before fear could argue. "Officer," she called, steady but firm, "is everything all right here?" Barrett turned, his jaw tightening. "Ma'am, back away. Police matter." Evelyn's eyes flicked to the boy. He's a kid. He doesn't look like he's resisting. The tension snapped like a live wire. Barrett stepped toward her. "Lady, I said walk away." The bystanders, people from the block, the store clerk, a mother pushing a stroller, all froze. Phones were out, but no one spoke. Evelyn's heart raced, but she stood her ground. "You don't have to threaten him," she said softly. "You're supposed to protect him." Barrett's face reddened. "You want to tell me how to do my job now?" Evelyn took a small breath. "No, officer. I'm reminding you what your job is." The air thickened. Barrett's pulse hammered in his ears. And then he snapped. With one brutal swing, his fist collided with her face. The sound, flesh against bone, silenced the street. Evelyn's body crumpled onto the pavement, her head striking the curb. A gasp rippled through the crowd. The boy screamed, "Miss Evelyn!" and dropped to his knees beside her, blood staining her silver hair. Phones shook in trembling hands. Someone shouted, "Call 911!" Another cried, "He hit her! He hit her!" Barrett froze, his breath ragged, his expression shifting from rage to realization. His eyes darted to the phones, the lenses capturing everything. His career, his freedom began to unravel right there on that cracked Harlem street. Sirens screamed minutes later. Paramedics rushed in. Evelyn's pulse was faint. Barrett stood back, pale, muttering, "She came at me! She came at me!" But no one believed him. Hours later, in a sleek downtown office overlooking the city, David Carter, a federal civil rights prosecutor, sat surrounded by files. His phone buzzed. He almost ignored it until he saw the caller ID, Harlem General Hospital. "Mr. Carter," a nurse said gently, "your mother was brought in. She's in critical condition." The world tilted. His throat closed. My mother?" "Yes, sir. She was assaulted. You should come quickly." By the time David reached the hospital, Evelyn was hooked to machines, her face swollen, her head bandaged. The rhythmic beeping of monitors filled the sterile silence. A doctor spoke quietly beside him. "Severe cranial trauma. She's stable for now, but the next 24 hours are critical." David stared through the glass at his mother's still form. His voice trembled, but his words were sharp. "Who did this?" The nurse hesitated. "Officer Cole Barrett." David's blood turned to ice. He knew that name. Barrett was already under federal review for misconduct, a file David himself had seen months ago. Now it was personal. The next day, the footage hit social media. #JusticeForEvelyn trended within hours. The video was undeniable. Evelyn calm, composed, standing firm while Barrett's anger boiled over. By noon, reporters filled the courthouse steps. Protesters chanted outside NYPD headquarters. Inside his office, David Carter stood over a corkboard plastered with photos, timelines, and police reports. His assistant Maya entered quietly. "The mayor's office called," she said. "They want you to back off until the review board handles it." David looked up, his eyes cold. "The review board is the reason men like Barrett still wear a badge. We're not waiting." "You're going after him yourself?" "I'm going after the system that protects him." Barrett, meanwhile, was unraveling. In his Queens apartment, blinds drawn tight, he sat on the edge of his bed, clutching a whiskey bottle. His phone buzzed nonstop, calls from the union, his lawyer, his partner. Each message sounded the same: stay quiet, we'll handle it. But the streets weren't quiet. His name was everywhere. His face was on every screen. He threw the phone across the room. For the first time in his career, he realized there was no one left to protect him. 2 weeks later, the trial began. David stood before the jury, voice calm but cutting. This case isn't about fear. It's about power, about a man who thought his badge gave him permission to forget humanity. He pressed play on the video. Gasps filled the courtroom as Evelyn's fall replayed in slow motion. Barrett's arrogance, the boy's scream, the crowd's horror. When Barrett took the stand, his voice shook. She came too close. I felt threatened. David stepped forward. Threatened? He pointed to the screen freeze-framed on Evelyn's raised, empty hands. That's a 70-year-old woman standing still. What exactly was the threat, Officer Barrett? Her courage? The courtroom fell silent. By verdict day, the city held its breath. On the charge of aggravated assault, the foreman paused. Guilty. Cheers erupted outside the courthouse. David exhaled, closing his eyes as relief and grief collided in his chest. That night, he stood beside Evelyn's hospital bed. Her hand was weak, but she squeezed his fingers. You did the right thing, she whispered. I nodded. You taught me how. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. The city never truly slept. But for once, it sounded like a song of justice.